Now, let's add some hi-hat. So we're going to scroll over and find a hi-hat to use. Here's our hi-hat. Well, in the Ableton stock samples, the hi-hats are a little bit further down. So let's just scroll through them and find some good ones. I like that. Right here. Why not? No, I can't select it. There we go. Okay, that's good. Okay, hi-hats. Very important things. You'll hear, if you listen very carefully in dubstep, and for specifically the hi-hat, dubstep, electro house, they're all used very differently. But the mastering process is generally the same. I'm just going to master this one hi-hat right here, the 707. So let's come over here, grab an auto filter. Oh, sorry, I got ahead of myself. Spectrum is always first. Spectrum, so we know what is happening in the sound. All right, so let's play this hi-hat. Well, first we have to enter it in real quickly. Enter in a hi-hat. 707 closed is the one it is. So let's just do something like, I'm just gonna enter it. Hi-hat patterns are for your creative, etc. Alright, that might sound a little awkward, but that's okay. We're just going to master this hi-hat. I can change it up later if I wish. So, first of all, let's go in and then solo this hi-hat. So we are only listening to it, and we can just loop this pattern over and over again while we master it. So here's the solo button inside our drum rack. There it is. You can see there's also a solo button down here, so perfect. Okay, so let's just loop this over and over again, and we'll start playing with some effects. Oh, that's awkward. I did the 909, so we'll just, my bad, let's do the 909. Here we go. Sorry about that. Okay, here it is. You can see everything below 146 is just not being used. So I'm actually going to push that up a little bit. And we'll do 269. Looks like a good place. So let's go down and get an auto filter. There it is. Two 69. High pass. There we go. See what it looks like now? Okay, much cleaner. Okay. Now again with hi-hats, we're not going to put any compression on it, but we are going to put what's called a chorus. A chorus is somewhat similar to a flanger, but it's just a different sound. I'm going to smack this on here and you'll be able to hear the difference. It's already pretty good, but you can see that you still a little bit too much motion, so we'll just turn down the rate a little bit. And the mouse tab. And you can see this graph here is a function of these two values, rate and amount. So you can just pull this around a little bit and see exactly what you want. Now, you can hear it just widens it out a little bit. So, same as the cymbal, and then the flanger. It's just the chorus is a little bit tighter of a sound, so it makes more sense to go with a hi-hat. So I'll turn this off, and you'll be able to hear the difference. Yeah, just a little, very subtle amount. Now, the last thing we're going to do, well, in the effects area at least, is put another limiter on it, just for good measure. There we go. Now, the next thing we're going to do is put another hi-hat in. And I'm not going to master the second hi-hat because we already know what it... Actually, you know, I'll do it just for good measure. But we're going to put this other hi-hat, this other closed one in. And you'll be able to see how the hi-hats differ. And I'll talk a little bit about choosing hi-hats. So, let's put that one there. That's good. Move that there. Actually, switch these. Okay. Alright. Hopefully that sounds okay. Anyway, I'm going to really quickly master this hi-hat, 707, the one we were going to originally master. So we'd have a spectrum on it. So I'm just going to listen to this a couple times. You can watch me master it. Solo the 707. And here we go. So 198 is about our cutoff. So auto filter. I'm gonna say it was 197, yeah. 197. There we go. Chorus. And you can adjust all the chorus settings to ear. It's all a matter of opinion. Okay, now we have two hi-hats. Let's listen to the entire pattern with everything together. Okay, you can see here it sounds pretty okay, but everything sounds very narrow, and you'll kind of see what I mean once I mess with this a little bit. What we're going to do is take these hi-hats and we're going to make them sound dramatically different from one another. So let's listen to the two hi-hats and decide some things about them. First thing we're going to listen to is pitch. So here we go. Here's 707. Here's the 909. 909's a little bit higher, yeah? So let's grab this 909. I mean, sorry, the 707. And then we'll go into the sample editor area. This is the device, it's the sample. And we're going to come over here to this detune thing. And we're going to detune it like just a little bit. Let's listen to it now. Turn it even more. There we go. Okay, so you see, I was messing with the detune, it wasn't really making that big of a difference, and then I went up to transpose. Think of these two knobs as rough control of pitch and fine control of pitch. Detune is, it changes just a little bit. Transposing it changes it a lot. So we did to -2 semitones. It's not that much, but it's enough to really differentiate the two sounds. Now, the second thing we're going to do is pan these two just a little bit to either side. So we're going to pan the hi-hat 707 just a little bit left, and the 909 just a little bit right. Now let's listen to the pattern. Now that's kind of the idea. It doesn't sound finished yet, but that's really what we want to do, is we want to separate out the hi-hats so you can hear each one very definitively, and so the different sounds sound different. That's how you get really rhythmic sounding hi-hats. You don't want one hi-hat sound the entire time. It sounds fake. But if you change the pitch and the left to right a little bit, it sounds a lot more rhythmic, and you can hear the syncopation of the rhythms a lot better. And again, all to taste. If you just want to have a straight up hi-hat on the and of each beat, that's fine. I'm not going to say you have to do it this way, but then that's where your creativity comes in, especially with the mastering effects and everything like that. But really what we're working on is trying to get everything to be as clear as possible. And so sometimes you do some weird things to the sounds to make them sound clear. That's what mastering is all about. Defining the sounds, getting rid of all the extra stuff, and making sure that everything that's functional is as functional as it can possibly be. So there is our drum rack, and it is all mastered and ready to go. You have your sounds here, and you can add as many as you need to, and that's how you do it. You can adjust balance in these areas, these little things right here. Control the volume of each individual drum, so you can balance out your drum kit in any way you like. Again, this is not as much enough time to be spending on mastering drums. It's very subtle, and the more you listen to it and the more you do it, the better your ears will get. The important thing is to spend some time and really get used to listening critically to each of your sounds. Now, you do the same thing for synths and everything once we get into synthesizers. You find the functional part of the sound using Spectrum, and you isolate that so it's not taking up any more space in our box of production than it needs to.